What's going on, everybody? Trev Wilson here. Welcome back to the Bourbon Wrench. Today, we have another list. We're going to be talking about 5 bourbons that I think are overlooked, overshadowed by some other bottles that I think are worth maybe revisiting, or if you've never had them, are worth picking up. I think there are a lot of bottles that get a lot of hype and a lot of attention, and it kind of takes away from some of the other bottles in a line or from a brand. So I gathered 5 bottles that I think are overlooked and I think are pretty dang good. So let's cut out all the bullcrap. Let's just get right into it. If you are new here, hit the like button. Consider hitting the subscribe button. It really does help the channel out. Hop aboard, come along on the journey. Let's go. Alrighty, first bottle on my list of overlooked bottles. Evan Williams Single Barrel. Now, if you are a viewer of my channel, you might say you talk about that a lot, and it's because I think it's really good. This is a bottle that I think, you know, when you think Evan Williams, if you're in the know, you kind of gravitate towards the Evan Williams Bottled in Bond. And I think it's easy for people to go for that one over the Single Barrel because A, it's higher proof, and B, it's cheaper. That being said, this isn't that much more expensive. It's age stated. I believe these are all 8 years old. Yes, lower proof, but I think the extra complexity that you're getting with this, it's really good. It's easy to sip on, but it's still dense. It's still full of flavor that I think a little bit better flavor than some of the other Williams products. I mean, think about it. You're getting an 8-year age stated bourbon for under 30 bucks. Kind of introduces you to the world of oak a little bit, so you're experiencing new flavors that you typically don't get from Evan Williams. All right, moving on. The second bottle on my list, Four Roses Small Batch. Now, I think Four Roses in general as a brand is a quite overlooked brand. You don't really hear a whole lot of people talking about it. Maybe the Four Roses LEs, as of all things limited edition, there's hype. But when it comes to everyday Four Roses bottles, it's kind of like the Single Barrel is the king, which for good reason, it's a really good bottle. But the small batch, I think, fits in a different category. It's around $30-something. I kind of want to put this into the more everyday sipping category of bourbon. Now, I'm not saying this is the most delicious thing ever, but it's very easy to sip on. It's very light. I hate to use the word floral on Four Roses, but it kind of has that florally note, and I think it's an exceptional bottle for people who are getting into bourbon, okay? If you're seasoned, if you are into bourbon hardcore, this might not interest you all that much. It's much more of a daily sipper. Also, I think this bottle is leaps and bounds better than the Four Roses Yellow Label, the $20 entry-level bottle. I think this kind of blows that out of the water. I think it's just a great introduction to bourbon. I think it's a great introduction to Four Roses as a brand. So, fun fact too, I will add that this is amazing outside. Don't know the science behind it, but I go out on the back porch, pour this, it's fantastic. All right, moving on. The third bottle on the list, 1792 Bottled in Bond. Now, I think this one is a more popular option on this list, but it's definitely, I think, overshadowed by the 1792 Full Proof. I think a lot of people gravitate towards the Full Proof. The Full Proof is only a little more expensive, and that might be part of it. People see, well, it's a little more money and I'm getting a barrel proof bourbon. But I will say that they don't really taste the same, and I would even say, for me personally, that I prefer the 1792 Bottled in Bond to the Full Proof. Part of that, probably just personal preference, but I believe 1792 products drink hotter, and the 1792 Full Proof is really hot. This, being 100 proof, but drinks hotter to me, it feels kind of like I'm getting into the barrel proof range, so I really like it. The flavors on this are incredible. I think they are leaps and bounds better than the small batch, so if you're out there and you say, I love the 1792 small batch, definitely graduate up to this guy. I think you're gonna absolutely love it. Sweet, chocolatey, banana-y deliciousness. It's fantastic. Around $40, solid bottled and bond product. I have noticed though that these are kind of come and go, especially in my area. They show up, they disappear for a while, and they come back. So don't know exactly the distribution. I think it's a little bit weird on the 1792 products, but keep your eye out. If you haven't had it, definitely do it. Also, I encourage you to reevaluate this. This is a bottle I passed up when I was getting into bourbon. I just jumped straight to the full proof, went back to this, and my mind was blown. All right, moving on. Number 4 bottle on the list, Old Forester 1897 bottled in bond. Now, I think this one is overlooked for many reasons, okay? So let's get into it. First and foremost, 1920 and 1910 are the overshadowing figures for this bottle, I think. When you're looking at the Whiskey Row line, 1920, 1910, they're the kings. They have all the hype. You know, so many people are just 1920, 1920. You gotta try it, you gotta get it. And then, you know, you just kind of pass this one by. I think the second part to that too is that people see the Old Forester 100 proof for like $20, and then you go over to the 1920, you see this right next to it. This is double the price, and it's 100 proof. So I think people see that and say, why would I buy this one when the other Old Forester is half the price, and then I could just take that money and buy a 1920? Honestly, that's the excuse that I gave to pass this one by for so long. I will say this is different. This is different even from any of the other Whiskey Row line bottles, and it's different from the Old Forester Signature. To me, this seems like a more mature, more put together version of the cheaper Old Forester 100. So if you find yourself liking that bottle, like if you love that bottle like I do, I would say give this one a shot. It's gonna be different. It's kind of a different branch of Old Forester. Kind of reminds me, and you know, don't hold this against me, I'm not saying this is LE Old Forester, but it starts reminding me more of the Old Forester single barrels, kind of like the 150th stuff, and then the store picks, kind of that direction for me in Old Forester. A little more spicy, you know, a little more into that realm. Really like this bottle. I encourage you to go back, revisit it. If you haven't tried it, give it a shot. Plus, it'll just look good sitting next to the 1920 that I know you own. All right, moving on to the final bottle on the list. That's gonna go to Jack Daniel's Single Barrel, the regular old single barrel. As a matter of fact, I think all of the single barrel offerings from Jack Daniel's are just incredible. I just think this is overlooked and overshadowed by far because of the Jack Daniel's Single Barrel barrel proof, which is easily in one of my top favorite bottles of all time. This one's still pretty expensive too. This is around $50, and then the barrel proof is around $60, $65. So it's easy to say, why not just spend an extra $10 and get the barrel proof version? Here's the kicker, because I don't want to drink barrel proof all the time, and this is still jam-packed full of delicious Jack Daniel's flavor. Banana nut bread galore. I absolutely love this bottle. This is kind of my warm-up to Jack Daniel's Single Barrel barrel proof. Or it's my come down from Jack Daniel's Single Barrel barrel proof. If I don't need any more barrel proof, you know, you could downgrade a little bit. Overall, solid little bottle. All right, guys, there we have it. Those are 5 bottles that I think are totally worth going back and revisiting. Or if you have not tried them, definitely give them a shot. I know it's very tempting to go for one of those other bottles first. By all means do so, but you know, come back to these guys. They're still really good. They might not have all of the hype behind it, but that means you should probably be able to find them a little easier than some of those hyped bottles. If you have these bottles, let me know what you think of them personally, and let me know how you feel about the bottles I was comparing them to. So the bottles that are overshadowing them. Let me know what you think between the two. Would love to hear what you guys think. I know people who are getting into this, I always encourage go read the comment section, because a lot of people, they know a lot more than I do, okay? At the end of the day, I'm just a dude. Leave a comment if you have questions. I will get back to you, and I know there's so many people who will help you. They will get back to you. So just go drop a comment, hit the like button on your way out of here, hit the subscribe button if you're not. Check out the links in the description. I have a Patreon page, tons of awesome merch, rewards for you guys over there, exclusive content. And until next time, guys, I'm Trev Wilson. I'll see you in the next video.